Ready when you guys are.
I'm Alex. Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Professor Meg.
We can start again.
Always
I am.
I know.
But.
Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Professor Meg.
And I'm Devon.
And today we're continuing our top 100 games of all time. We are we are going through numbers 60
Can we play all of them?
After this!
We are continuing our list, but we are in a different location. Where did we find
Looks
ourselves?
like the Board Game Co. studio
set.
to me.
This is the Board Game Co.
Nothing's
set.
changed. All the games are right behind me.
Did you say Studio B?
Studio to me.
Oh, I
To
thought
me,
you were
to
saying
me.
like studio. I was like, I like the
I
idea of
didn't
having
even notice
multiple
that you did that,
studios.
Devin.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
I heard you banging something earlier, because I took a nap, guys. It's tradition that when I'm here, I take a nap in Devin's place while they do a video. And I thought someone was knocking at the door. I was really afraid. I was like, I'm not answering.
That was a different type of video, though.
Every time I bob my
different
head,
lighting for that one.
I'll be going back and forth like this. But we are going through numbers 60 through 51 today. We'll be going through them. Timestamps as usual down below. We'll have timestamps to all the relevant games. So in case you are uncertain what game we're talking about, just like hover your mouse over the bar.
But we have nothing to drink. How will you know when to timestamp?
Timestamp.
I can go get us some drinks.
If you want to get drinks, I'll pretend that we cut. I'll just go like this and like pause. Okay, just run.
To the liquor store?
Yes. Go now.
You want me to physically run?
Quickly.
He's not going to move.
Quickly.
Okay.
No, I'm joking.
Go now.
Okay, no. We'll come back. We'll come back with more lists, more drinks later. But starting off with number 60, I'll start this off. I ended off with number 61 at Bunny Kingdoms. We're going to go through number 60 for me is Valeria Card Kingdoms.
Ooh, I liked this one. Oh, wait,
it?
no. I liked Shadow Kingdoms. I haven't played Card Kingdoms.
Have you played? I
No,
think
it's
you
one
have.
that I want to play. I haven't.
Why haven't you taught it to us yet?
You sure you haven't played it?
I'm maybe sure. Could it have
No,
been demoed somewhere? Then I might have.
I think you may have, but I'm not sure. I have to check my app, but I'm not going to do that right now. But Valeria Card Kingdoms is from Daily Magic Games.
I think so.
You had like priests, and you're converting magic and thingies, you're taking out enemies. You're
Maybe.
constantly getting magic and might. And you're cashing those in, and then you have a secret lord, and you're going for certain types of things there.
Well, that was a great way to explain it to
Spoiler
the kids at home.
alert!
I'm
Now I know how the game works.
Yes, it's a secret campaign game where they don't tell you anything until you read the rule book. Anyway,
Spoilers.
Until you read the rule book.
Valeria Card Kingdoms from Daily Magic Games, and to me it's my favorite of the genre of games where you are trying to roll dice and collect stuff, which is a genre we saw obviously with Catan. We've seen it with Space, with Machikoro. We've seen it with Bad Company. We've seen it with give me something else.
Space.
Yeah, Space, exactly. A bunch of games, and to me, Valeria Card Kingdoms is my favorite of the genre. Something about it just gives me... First of all, it's got the art from the Mitro in general, which I love, and then additionally, it just has, like, you just get stuff, and you get to buy more stuff, and you buy citizens, and you use those. It is, to me, just the most fun of the genre. They have a bunch of expansions to mix it up. They have a cooperative expansion you can play through, or solo or cooperative as well. They have a whole bunch of other games named Valeria that are not Valeria Card Kingdoms, so get that part right. There's Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria.
Yeah,
there's
Shadow Kingdoms
Quests of Valeria. There's Villages of Valeria. There's Siege of Valeria. There's Valeria Dice Kingdoms. There's... I might be running out. I think there might be one more. There's like a trick-taking game
What
as
should
well.
their new one be then? Make it up.
Their new one should be Valeria Evolutions. But with that, basically, anyways, point is that I really enjoy the Card Kingdoms of Valeria. It is my number 60.
Nice. We spent too much time around each other.
It's not cool.
When one person's talking, the other two are literally just saying the same thing again and again and again.
Guys, I know I already mentioned that I took a nap, but I'm like nap happy. I woke up giggly, and I just like, I'm in such a good mood after a nice good nap.
My number 60 is Wonderful Kingdom, which is the 2-player like iteration or re-implementation of It's a Wonderful World, which I also think is a fantastic game. But as you know, I like 2-player head-to-head experiences, and just like Seven Wonders Duel turns the drafting of Seven Wonders into a vicious experience, so too does Wonderful Kingdom create just absolute mind games. Because not only do you have drafting that is split between the two of you, but you actually offer up cards to go into one of 2 rows, and then the other player has to take them. But you have trap tokens, which allow you to place the cards face down, and then you put a trap token on it. And you don't know if underneath there is a bad card, is a very, okay card, is an amazing card. You're trying to deduce what is someone putting under there. Are they trying to make me take that card by doing reverse psychology? Are they doing reverse psychology? And it's
That's fun.
it's just like so many layers of nuance, and it makes that an absolute bloodbath of a drafting experience, and I love it. I love it so much. I will say, if you really like It's a Wonderful World and you love the engine building, by design, the drafting in It's a Wonderful Kingdom is a reduction of the engine building. So if you get a lot of satisfaction out of building this really effective engine, you are building a scarce engine in It's a Wonderful Kingdom because you're bleeding each other dry with not only the drafting, but there's also these mechanisms that introduce threats. And they
giants,
like rats, frost giants, thieves, all that stuff. And they also, deteriorate or deconstruct what you're building. So it takes a lot longer, pretty much till the end of the game, to really get anything going. And the point scores are lower than It's a Wonderful World. So keep that in mind. But if you like really brutal two-player drafting experiences, It's a Wonderful Kingdom is so much fun.
Yeah, that's one that's an interesting one. I played with a few people, but I remember particularly I played it with Akiva at one point, and he and I just sat there and spent the entire game just trying to play triple think mind games with each other. That was the entire game. It didn't feel like we were playing a drafting, tableau building, whatever. It just felt like I'm gonna hide my best card underneath a mine. I'm gonna hide a whole bunch of bad cards under mine. The whole thing was just a constant mind game.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who won. I just remember the moments where I tricked you. Did you win? I'm losing the game, but I tricked you. Yeah, it was fun.
All I heard was trap card and putting things face down, and it makes me just think of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh has traps?
Yeah, I'll play this card face down. And
It's a joke because I found that out 2 nights ago from you for the first time.
Yeah, now I can't let it go.
We were streaming and she said something, I asked something about traps. She's like, "Oh, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh." I'm like, "Yu-Gi-Oh's trap based?" She's like, "Yes, that's the whole thing." I'm like, "I don't know.
How do you not know that?"
I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh. I played Magic the Gathering.
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Exactly. That's what you're number 60.
That's just a card from it. That doesn't tell me anything about the trap parts.
Exactly.
What's your number 60?
My number 60 is, I've been doing this a little bit through these lists, is kind of making a bucket one. This is a
long
bucket.
title.
I'm gonna go take another nap.
She's like, guys, I'm not nap ready yet.
It's the exit games. So I kind of put all exit games kind of in a bubble. I want to say my favorite one was one that we did, was the Lord of the Rings one.
Oh,
especially because I love the IP. I think the Lord of the Rings one, it was very fun with the puzzles that they did and with it tying in. It was really engaging, and I think that they did it really well, but I really do enjoy the exit games. There are some things that can end up being frustrating, some secrets where you don't realize what it should be, and in the exit games, it's all these puzzles that you're doing, and there are cards that will give you clues. I feel like the clues usually aren't helpful. Usually it's look at the blue thing, and then here's the answer, it's 47, and there's no in between.
I literally just filmed an exit review, and that was one of my pieces of feedback about it. I was like,
is it blue in 47?
No, not that. But I was literally saying,
Wouldn't be surprised.
I was saying how in the exit series, one of the things I don't love is their clue system often goes from it's something, and you're like, it's something within this universe, and you're like, I can't figure it out. They're like, it's a blue dove. It goes directly from the most vague clues ever to here's the answer. And I'm like, I feel the system could be better.
Yeah, so that's my only complaint. But as far as very engaging puzzles, I think it is the most fun at 1 to 3 players. I would prefer 1 to 2. Once you start getting too many people involved, it's something that you could share with a lot of people at the table, but I think once you have too many people, you're not really able to do the puzzles, similar to something like an escape room where when it's too big of a group, it's too much. But I really love them. I think they're very clever puzzles. They're always challenging. It's one of the ones that's very satisfying when you do it.
Now, are you counting exits specifically or unlock games in general?
I just exit games.
Cool.
Exit the franchise by Cosmos.
My number 59. 59 for me is...
That would be a big bucket if I just did...
Well, even just unlock an exit. I consider them very comparable. If I were doing, I don't remember if they are on my list or not, but if they were in my top 100, they'd be together.
Interesting.
The others, not so much. The others, I think, are not. The ones I've played, I think, are different enough. Exit and Unlock, to me, are very comparable in how good they are and the general category they take up. My number 59, we're up to 59.
You just looked at it.
Yep, it is, I don't know if you've played it. I know you've played it. It's Mosaic.
Ugh. This is one I've wanted to play.
It
looks really good.
Mosaic is a lot of fun. It's from Forbidden Games. Thank you. Forbidden Games. Designed by Glenn Drover.
You said thank you after you already got it before I got it.
No, you helped.
I was literally
He was in the halfway through for Forbidden Games. I was like, Forbidden Games. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. But
thanks for being late to the party, Devon.
This game, Mosaic, is A lot of fun. I've enjoyed it ever since I first played it, and it's one that it gives you basically to me it gives me the Terraforming Mars almost experience in a very lighter form. It's not the same as Terraforming Mars, but it has that aspect of just taking one quick action every turn. You're going to be having cards, you have technology cards with tags that reward you in different ways, and you're building up your tableau through a variety of actions, and it has area control that feels very abstracted, similar to Terraforming Mars, and not like, the type of, Blood Rage style of area control. It's very much just putting things down and having as many points as possible through that. It has wonders, it has just a ton of cards and things, different ways to build your engine. You're constantly building up what you produce and how you produce it, and then taking those produced actions to just get as much as you possibly can while managing your population, sacrificing your population to build buildings. It's 8 actions. The entire game is 8 different actions. You take one action a turn, you cycle, you go fast through it. The whole entire thing is very simple to teach and understand, has a whole lot of cards, and then past that, it's just about building your engine. It's just having a whole pile of cards in front of you so that you can do as much as you possibly can.
You're making it sound a lot more approachable than I thought it was.
I think it is very... if you can lift the box, I think it's very approachable.
It's very snappy. It's one of those games that I think can be a little deceiving where the actions themselves are very simple. You only have so many actions available, but as you start building your engine and knowing how to use it properly and make the best out of it, it really is like a balance of when you take certain actions.
Yeah.
Something that I don't think I've mastered yet is that you gain... on these tracks, like how much you're producing, and then you need to take a turn to be able to produce just for that one type of resource. And I think choosing when to produce, I haven't gotten a hang of yet.
Because at the end of the day, there's always that compelling aspect of I can spend a turn making my food production go from 16 to 17. Mm-hmm. The problem is you can also just produce food, and then you get 16 food.
Right.
So is it worth that upgrading different things? Are you getting tags you're going to score points off of? So it's a constant trade-off of when you start cashing in on the engine versus when you're still building the engine and trying to gather points along the way. Mm-hmm. But like she said, I think you said it perfectly. It's very simple to actually teach and understand. The execution of where and when to push, that's a lot more.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's very enjoyable. I really had a great time. I've played it 3 times now. I've enjoyed it every time, but it is still one that I don't think I've mastered how to understand it yet.
You're 59.
Fair.
59. My number 59 is another one that we played at Gen Con, Harrow County.
Ooh.
What are the chances of that? The 59s.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking yours was still 60. I'm still in now.
I thought he was referring that there was a crossover.
No, just the fact that those 2 games.
Say, like, what are the chances that you named a game?
I don't think we played them on I don't think we played them on the same day. We played both of those at Gen Con.
Nice.
I'd already played Mosaic before. But
maybe the same day at Gen Con.
I think I had played Mosaic before and you had played Harrow County before.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Harrow County is a game that's based on the comics Harrow County, and I think that's why I love it so much. I think it's a very enjoyable 2-player game, but that being said...
Not only a 2-player game, though.
Yeah. 2 plus...
2 are... Well... It's designed as a 2-player game with a 3rd-player addition. Does it ever go up to 4? I don't think it does.
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Okay, it goes up to 4 too.
It is a 1-to-4 player game.
It's a 1-to-4 player game that's primarily designed as a 2-player
game. Sorry, continue, Meg.
Yeah, no, I just really enjoy it. That's all I've got. I'm so distracted right now.
Well, because it's a 1-to-4 player game in theory, but it's the way the game introduces you, it's a 2-player experience. Then you go to level 2, it's still a 2-player experience. Level 3 is still a 2-player experience. Level 4 is now a 3-player experience. Level 5 is a 4-player experience, and then there's a solo mode built in as well. The whole thing is very...
Yeah,
so it subdivides its rulebook and dissemination of the different player roles into a chapter system, which is supposed to, I think, thematically or narratively emulate the chapters of a graphic novel, because that's what it's based off of. But because of the asymmetry, it...
Did you teach it at Essen as well?
I did a demo of it at Essen, yeah. So because of the asymmetry of the character classes and the requirements for when you're able to put in characters, it's not like a faction-based, super fantasy brawl where you can bring in kind of whoever you want, and whatever the team composition doesn't matter. Because everybody can play as part of a makeup. In this, you have the 2-player system, and it is Emmy, and then it is against either Cammy or against the family. Mm-hmm. And so there are 2 different people that Emmy can play against, and then you can also have Cammy and the family play against each other. So among those 3 factions, there are options for a 2-player game. Mm-hmm. And then to have a 3-player game, you need to have Hester brought in, because those other 3 factions have to be the physical confrontation on the board, 2 of those 3 factions have to be there. Hester is the third option, who plays passively on the board, but actively in her own designs, and benefits from playing off of what the other 2 factions are doing. And then the 4th faction that is available is the Fairy Folk, and they also play both off the board and on the board, and they have several quests that they're on to get back the crown, the sword, and the Fairy Queen herself. And all 3 of them are kind of like a spatial puzzle that is informed by all 3 other factions. And what's unique about the Fairy Folk is they actually go after every other player. So like Emmy may go, then the Fairy Folk, then Cammy, then the Fairy Folk, then Hester, then the Fairy Folk. And so...
Do you think he meant like they go after the players? They go after them?
Yeah.
That's how I meant it.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why I said, I was like...
Because
that's my reaction, and they start to explain it, and then you're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, he just said it, and you also act like you just found out. That's what I was.
So... There are 4 factions. It can play up to 4, but the way that the player count is determined is based off of the factions in play. And I think that there was a lot of maybe confusion as to this being just a 2-player game, because it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, because we only saw up to Hester, and we never played with the third player, but that's what we saw. Yeah. Now that I have my brain back, I think this was one of the first games that I played with a cube tower like that. Which is one of the things that really charmed me, was that there's this tower, and there's different things to kind of block cubes from falling down. So you drop cubes in when you're doing battle, and depending on how many come out is who wins. Yeah. And not all of them always come out. So because of that, you can build even for future battles that say you lose, you still have cubes in the tower waiting to come out for a future attack. Yep. I really enjoyed that.
Yep.
I did really well against you with it.
It's a fun game. It's a solid game. Yeah. This is a prototype, by the way, not yet available.
Yes.
Yep. All right, my 59 is Radlands.
Oh, nice. I love Radlands.
So Radlands is from Roxley. It is kind of like Mad Max Lane Battler. It is a 2-player, absolute like psychedelic artwork, just massive blast and fusion of neon colors, and it is this system where you have 3 camps that you're trying to protect, and you're fielding people out, and the main resource that you use to deploy them and then to activate their abilities is water. And it is this very tight resource management of the water, and then this very like brutal matchup, and all of the characters, and then like all of the characters have unique abilities, and there's quite a large variety of characters, both like kind of a little bit more normal and then some very unique, like kind of like elite or leaderish types of characters that you can field and play. But the thing that I think makes Radlands stand out from a lot of ones is typically a lot of like lane-based games or card-based duel games have the cards themselves that you're playing be what makes it unique, and like the decks that you form is what's unique, and then kind of like the bases that you're trying to destroy is usually just player health or like, you know, your faction health, and you drop down from a variable number to 0. In Radlands, almost like half the size of the main deck is the camp deck. And have you played Radlands at all?
Yeah, I tried it for the first time a few weeks ago. And I think, too, the raiders being able to come in, you can... So there are, like, the cards that you play, I don't know, in front of your camp, in your lanes. But you also have raiders that you can summon. And them being able to... I didn't realize until Alex was doing it to me, but that you can ramp them up to kind of move up and attack right away by playing cards. That felt dangerous.
Yes. And then because the camps are so unique, like the makeup of the 3 different camps, all each give their own ability, and the way that they may inform the types of cards you play is really clever, and I think is one of the best parts about Radlands.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it on my list because I could have sworn it's my top 100, but I don't know where it is.
Did you miss Radlands?
I don't know. I'm going to have to go ahead and look for it again after this. That's why I'm a little distracted. My phone's
Radcliffe, Miss Radlands.
I think Radlands is tremendous. They named it after you.
I
may or may not have put it in my top 100 last year. I think it's tremendous, and it should be in my top 100. It may not be. We'll have to figure that problem out later.
How dare you? My 58, while you're searching, I'm going to keep talking, is a game that I recently learned called Targi, or Targi. And I No, I first became aware of this game when I saw the Shut Up and Sit Down review of it, which was very favorable. And then I know a lot of people consider it like kind of classic, 2-player experience. And I had just never tabled it. And then I got to play it on BGA, Board Game Arena, and I had so much fun with it. It was such a clever design. The Raider, going back to Raiders, the Raider's going around the edge kind of being the time track for the game. And then also occasionally blocking off spots when you're trying to create intersection points. Everything about the design of that is, I just thought, so unique. And it was so much fun, and I got my butt kicked playing it. And I was still like, this is really cool, I want to go again. So have just a little bit of experience with it, but very quickly I was like, this is special, and I understand why people like view it as favorably as they do.
Yeah, Targi is delightful. I have the expansion for it. I haven't played the expansion yet, but I really do enjoy it. That and Radlands. I didn't give a lot of feedback on the last one, but
Radlands, is that my top 100?
Radlands is fantastic. Targi is fantastic. Both are excellent games in very different senses, but I love the blocking mechanism in Targi. Similar to what we talked about with what was the last one we talked about? Where it's all about, It's a Wonderful Kingdom.
Yeah.
It very quickly can either become players going for their own thing as you try to place workers
or
to help yourself. Or
brutally stopping each other.
Or like, I'm going to stop you from getting that. You're not going to get anything good. I know.
Yeah.
But it's a 2-player game and neither are you, so the pain is real.
Yeah. What's your 58?
That's one that I've wanted to play.
Targi?
Yeah, because I've asked at your house, but we just haven't had time.
Well,
now that I know it's on Board Game Arena, I'll
so
just play it.
So is Nidavellir. We should play Nidavellir.
Yes. After this.
Without you.
You're 58, Meg.
My number 58 is a wonderful deduction game, Paint the Roses.
Ooh.
I really enjoyed Paint the Roses. It's one that I played quite a lot when we first got it. It's one where you are trying to deduce what cards different people have. So you have different difficulties of cards, and some of them are 2 colors together or 2 shapes, and then shapes and colors. And depending on where they're placing cubes when you place a tile, you're trying to figure out what cards are in their hand. It's one that I think is very tricky, that there's the queen, and she's the one that she'll try to catch up to you as you're trying to make these guesses, that if you're wrong, she'll catch up to you and you lose. And I feel like she is always on my tail no matter what.
Yeah, Paint the Roses is a lot of fun. Have you played with the modules yet?
One of them.
Oh, the modules to me, Paint the Roses base game, deduction game, solid game, base game to me, I liked it, and then the modules were that additional crunch I needed to really like make it one that I really enjoy. For me, like whenever I play it without the modules, I feel like I'm missing out. I feel like I'm not getting the full experience. The modules give me so much more of a puzzle to actually try to strive for.
I tried to introduce it to a lot of people, so I think that's what usually happens is when people come over, I'm like, oh, this one, especially the production quality, it's these really great tiles that you're placing.
Did you bring it with you?
I brought just the tiles.
I hate you both so much.
So showing it to new players, it is a bit more challenging because they're trying to get it, so yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
My 58 is unintentionally another Gen Con experience. Unintentionally, I did the whole. I didn't really mention at the beginning.
Episode.
But to me, like I did this whole thing. I think we all did this through Pub Meeple, just throwing our titles in, and it happens to be 59 and 58, both Gen Con experiences to me. But specifically 58, arguably shouldn't be a 2022 title, depending how you count it. But I'm still going to count it. We have prototypes on this list. We can. Hoplomachus Victorum.
Okay, I was about to ask if it was Hoplomachus Victorum.
It was supposed to have delivered, had some issues, it's about to deliver.
You got your copy. How's that?
I generally try to count only finished things. It's just, it happens to be I have one of like 6 finished things in the US, so I guess that technically counts.
How has that solo game been?
It's a delightful solo experience. I know what you're talking about.
It's a delightful 2-player solo experience.
Hoplomachus Victorum is a lot of fun. I really enjoy this one. It has gone down for me since first playing it. This is one that the more I played it...
Is that because you're running it alone too much now?
That's a solo experience. It's. I think to me the issue is that... And I actually did a review already with Jeremy, with One Stop Color Shop. I think Jeremy Howard's there too, but on their channel. But it's... My main problem with it is it does feel a little grindy comparable to other chip theory experiences. I think that the amount you upgrade, it doesn't really pace as well compared to games like Burncycle or Cloudspire or Too Many Bones. So I think it's gone down a little bit for me. It is their most accessible title, giving you basically a solo skirmish game, which you're going to have your hero, you're going to pick a hero, you're going to start building up your troops, you're going to go through little combat puzzles as you slowly move around trying to eventually take down a Scion. You're going through roughly like up to 48 different encounters though, and in theory you are incentivized to do as many as possible because you upgrade as you go through it, but you get to a certain point where it's kind of like, I almost just want to skip a few weeks and get to the end, just so I can and go to the next tier and then level up.
No.
But
Skip.
So just like for context, we've been playing this together over on our Twitch channel. So we've been playing the game, making the decisions together. So that's why I'm like, no, we're not skipping anything. I did find, though, there are 8 different maps, which, knowing chip theory, they're all beautiful, and they're these neoprene maps that you're flipping over.
Each with different rules and encounters.
And that being said, I felt by the time it was time to leave a region, and you do a bunch of the spots in the region, and then you leave and go to a new map, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
I was kind of sick of the maps that I wish you could even jump around more and go back to different maps. But because you're going region by region, you're really stuck in one area at a time.
Yeah, and there are ways and opportunities to jump a little faster. We haven't necessarily been pursuing that quite as much, and I think the most recent patch we've actually had to go one way, then back across. So we spent a lot of time in the same regions. It's a little bit grindy for me. It's still very solid, still my 58, but that's Hoplomachus Victorum.
Nice.
Nice.
What's your 57?
My number 57 is Dinosaur World.
Ooh.
Still want to play that one.
I started off loving Dinosaur Island. That was one of the first games that I really got into when I started content creation. So it kind of has like a little nostalgic spot for me. But Dinosaur World takes Dinosaur Island. It's a much bigger concept. So in Dinosaur Island, you are building up your own little park, whereas in Dinosaur World, it is a big world where you're placing these tiles, you're using a Jeep, you're going around. It's not ranked as highly as Dinosaur Island. Spoiler alert. So I do really enjoy it, but among the dinosaur games by Pandasaurus, it's not my favorite. But I do really enjoy that world, the mechanics. Again, like the theme can grab me, so it can make me happy.
Yeah, I think for me, Dinosaur World, I played almost all the way through it. We just didn't get to the final scoring at Gen Con or so. But I was kind of okay to stop because it was a long gameplay. You know, it was the first time for everybody, so we were kind of like reading through rules for the first half of it. So it was a very long experience, and that probably colored my perception a little bit or my feelings. The thing that I didn't love about Dinosaur World is that I felt like I was spending a lot of time to build out those cool tiles, and you don't really get a lot of satisfaction from what you build because you're like, oh, I'm going to pay my Jeep to drive through it, and then you're like, I drove through it, and you're like, it affected the resources that I'm getting by this and this and this, or I didn't get as much this time, and I wanted more engagement with what I was building because it felt like the whole engine process, like that you're doing throughout the whole rest of the term before you send your Jeep through it and stuff, was the bulk of the game, and then like actually what you built doesn't have as much of an effect as I wanted to, and so it kind of left me going, I want to try Dinosaur Island because I haven't played that yet, and then also like the Dinosaur Roar and Ride. I was like, maybe those two games, even though they're not as like wide or encompassing as Dinosaur World, might actually satisfy me more, because I just kind of was like, I don't know if I want to go this long of a game when the whole time I'm like, the part of it that I want to engage with the most, I'm getting the least out of.
I'm guessing my copy is not going to stick around based on, and it's not the first time I've heard in general Dinosaur Island is better, and for me Dinosaur Island was good. I never loved it quite as much. And also the aesthetic, I do not like the hot pink neon aesthetic.
I love it.
It's not my jam.
I love it.
Yeah, so we'll see, but I'll eventually play it, and we'll figure out from there. My number 57. 57 for me is a command title. No.
Is Radlands not on your list?
We'll talk about it later.
Uh-oh.
57 for me.
Wait, you don't like hot pink?
He found it, so he
is
feels
not
more
his.
bad.
That's why Radlands isn't on
Radlands, the neon in Radlands is delightful. One is jarring, one is artsy. To me, it's a personal matter of taste.
Personal matter of taste.
My number 57 is a command title. It's Rum Bones.
Ooh.
Rum Bones is a skirmish game. It's what's the genre called? A MOBA. It's a MOBA skirmish game, which you basically massive online battle arena. The general idea of it is you have your heroes, which are these pirates, these little miniatures. You're going to be leveling up across the course of the game. And then you have all the minions. The minions are on these set routes from ship to ship as they slowly try to move. And it's your job as these heroes to try to figure out how to clear the pathway for minions, taking down enemy minions, potentially taking out other enemy heroes, although it's a little risky to get engaged. You're kind of sniping each other from afar as you slowly level up until eventually you start getting more skills and start tackling each other down at the core, taking down your opponent's ships, their cannons, their wheel. What's it called again? It's called something. The wheel. Is it called the wheel? The wheel. But that is basically
like
the steering wheel on a ship. What's it called?
Steering wheel.
It's called the thing. There's a term like the rudder. No.
No, the rudder is
like
the thing that helps
Why
you
can't
turn.
I remember what the steering wheel on a pirate ship is called?
Why am I forgetting it?
Thank you. Anyone help us out here?
Like the helm?
That might be
No.
it.
The helmsman is typically the one that.
I will Google this when it's not my turn to talk.
No, I'm gonna Google
It's
it
not
right
the
now.
wheel.
It's not the
Or
wheel, right?
steering
I'm
wheel.
not the only one. Meanwhile, we have 17 people in the comments down below who are like, these three are idiots.
Idiots.
Why are we still watching? Anyways, I really enjoy Rum Bones. I love the sheer amount of
mask?
characters. No.
No.
I love the sheer amount of characters. None of us have
It
any.
is called the helm.
Okay.
Okay, so that's fine.
Helm, a tiller or wheel, and any associated equipment for steering a ship or boat.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't satisfying.
But most people said, "What is a pirate ship's steering wheel called?" That's what all the images are. We're not the first. We're not the first.
We are the first to publicly do it on camera with too many people watching.
Probably.
But anyways, I love the heroes. I love the variety in the heroes' abilities and skills. I have like basically everything for the game, so there's a ton of just ways you can build out your team and the combinations thereof.
You've like never talked about this when I've been there.
I want to play this one.
Next time you guys do a video of like top 10 games Board Game Coach would teach us, we can talk about it.
If only there were a video like that.
If only there were a video like that.
If only there were a video like that.
And with that, Devon, 57.
My 57 is Paladins of the West Kingdom.
Ooh.
I love worker placement games. I love the Miko, the art. I think the Dmitry Mihajlo. And then I also love Shim Phillips' designs.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently taught our friends that were here this last week, Raiders of the North Sea, and they had a good time with that. And Paladins is probably my favorite of the West Kingdom. I've kind of come to the point where I realized I only really need one from each of those trilogies because otherwise I'm just going to have like 12 Shim Phillips worker placement games that like Amber
like
would burn 9 of them for firewood and to where it didn't take up enough space. Not
Send
because
them
she
to my
hates
house.
games, just because we just don't have enough room for them.
They can live at my house.
I'll just buy them and ship them to you. So like I got rid of Architects and I got rid of Viscounts from my collection. I just kept Paladins and just something about it's a very it's one of those experiences where if you don't know what you're doing and you're playing with someone who does, very quickly you're going to realize that they are so much more efficient than you in the worker placement. So it's definitely, I think, the least accessible out of the 3 of them to new players to the genre or to like Shim Phillips worker placement games. But it's my personal favorite. I think it's the crunchiest, if we're going to use gamer terms. And so I like it a lot. I love the artwork. I love Shim Phillips' designs. I think he does a really good job of being like, hey, I do worker placement, and yet I'm still finding new ways to tweak them.
Yeah.
It's like, every time he does that, I'm like, how did you think of this? It's like very clever. So Paladins of the West Kingdom I like a lot.
His wife doesn't burn his games.
At a baseline. So yeah, no, I like it a lot. I'm excited to try the City of Crowns expansion. I haven't, but haven't played with it yet. So it's the one of the West Kingdom that I've kept, and I'm very happy.
Do you have the new one coming? The newest, whatever it's called?
I don't have
South
the newest.
Tigris?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't have. I haven't played any of those, and don't have any of them coming.
Cool.
I really love Paladins. That was one that when I first got it, I want to say I played it like 3 nights a week for like 3
Really?
weeks in a row.
Wow.
That was one where I was
Nice.
like, again, I want to play this again. I want to do it
Wow.
again.
Nice.
I had a lot of fun with it.
I'm pretty sure I probably should save these statements. I played it once and was like, I'm good. I prefer Architects to my favorite one. I also played it when I had COVID, so there is that.
I also played it when I had COVID.
So I may have been slightly biased.
I love that most people are like, I have COVID, I need to recover. And Alex is like, COVID, like, not gonna stop me from playing the board game.
So I particularly remember that night as being one of the few times I was like, I don't know if I want to play a board game. I was like, no.
I think that all the time.
I'm not going to let them win. We're playing Paladins. Yeah.
I love how also on a night when you have COVID, you're still like, yeah, Paladins is low thinky enough for me.
That's the one to go for.
Solid game. Solid game. I enjoyed it.
Alex is like, guys, I've got a terminal disease. Time for a whole slew
Also, I had it back when it was
of
bad.
Lacerda titles.
I was
Back
out.
when it was bad.
I was out for 2 weeks with like COVID. It was a big deal. It's just I still played board games because who wouldn't?
COVID rocked
Who
me.
wouldn't?
Anyways,
Like a hurricane?
Yeah, I got it.
Like
I got
a
it from a close friend of
hurricane.
mine.
my 57 is actually appropriately a 7. Specifically,
Seventh continent?
Seven Wonders.
Oh.
Good choice, though. Good choice.
You looked at me. I was like...
Seven Wonders is my 57. Again, non-intentional, just the way the math... Is it 57 56? Now I'm wondering. Did I do
We
57?
couldn't be at 56 yet.
I thought I did
60,
57 last.
57. No, 56. Wait,
It is 56, yeah.
56. My number
Yours
7.
aren't numbered?
No, I just have an order.
You don't have yours numbered?
How do you order?
In
How do
descending?
You have how many?
100.
I don't need to know.
That's why I have the video.
I'm not gonna guess the front. You just have like a... Okay.
Full list of all my games. That's
Sure.
all.
Okay.
Anyways, my 56 is not 57. It's Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders,
What?
which is one of the...
That isn't as good.
It's not as cool, right?
No.
I thought it was cool for a second.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool mathematically, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, thanks for
7,
saving
8,
us.
9.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's how numbers work.
Yeah. Between this and the home, I don't know why people are still watching. These idiots don't know what a ship steering wheel's called, and they keep counting for some reason. Anyways, my number 7 is my 56.
Is 7 Wonders.
God. My number 56 is Seven Wonders, which is one of the 2 games I have left standing from the original games I purchased. When I first got into gaming, there were like 13 games I first bought in like a 3-week period or something like that. I got heavily into it, and Seven Wonders is one of 2 that I have left. It's
What's the other one?
Castle of Burgundy.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Been around
not
for a while.
high on your
Exactly.
list at all.
That's not high on my list in the slightest. I don't love Castle of Burgundy one bit. But Seven Wonders is just so accessible in what it does. To me, I find it constantly delivers in being a gateway game that is gateway friendly, while also having enough strategy, enough like expansions as well to mix up the experience if you want, that it gives me just a consistently fun experience. That's a game I'm always happy to play. I've never once been like, yeah, I don't want to play Seven Wonders. I'm always down with it. It's just, it plays in half an hour. The Leaders expansion I consider basically essential at this point. The only downside is there's enough iconography going on that for new players it could be a bit much. I don't think it's too complicated for new players. I just think it adds just a chunk of iconography to the table. But I love the game. I love it with the Leaders specifically. The other expansions I haven't even played with all the expansions yet. I haven't felt the need to yet.
Yeah.
It still delivers for me. It still gives me a very, very good experience. Seven Wonders.
Nice.
It's a solid game.
What's your 56?
My number 56 is a beloved game, The Crew.
Crossover, right?
Crossover.
Right? Crossover. I'm pretty sure
That was on the last one for
I was
me.
going to say right now.
No.
Okay.
Crossover at the end of the
Agreed.
last video.
Is
My
that our
61
first
was...
Did I have
Agreed.
Crew early? I think I had the Crew early on.
Is it our
just
first
saw it.
all...
I just
I
saw
think
it.
we had one that was all the way across.
It
was like around here.
Careful.
It was around there.
Careful.
Right there.
The Crew. Yep.
Right there,
Three-way
right
crossover.
there.
Three-way crossover.
Is that our first?
It might be
It's
our
been
first.
so long since we filmed the other ones
I know.
that I am now...
Wondering.
We're losing that thread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to get all these
First
done
one,
today.
maybe. So... I'm not going to get too much into it because we've talked about it twice already. But The Crew is a trick-taking game. It's very clever. It's a co-op trick-taking game, so you're working together trying to complete certain missions, and it is a good time. And something that I often bring up is affordability in games. It's an extremely affordable game for a big group of people to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It is. I am realizing. She's like, I don't need to feel the need to talk about it because we've talked about it twice already. But I'm like, that the person who likes it the most when there are crossovers is going to be the one that gets to talk about it the least.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
that's unfortunate.
But yeah, I really enjoy it.
My 56 is one that is probably new to me this year, I'm pretty sure, based off of, I think, math, is Mission Catastrophe. I had a lot of fun with this. Peter Vaughn and Brad over at Cardboard Alchemy, they have just consistently created titles that I have adored. They had their hands in Dwellings of Eldervale and brought that to fruition. They're coming up with Andromeda's Edge here in January, and they did Flamecraft, and then Mission Catastrophe was one that was like plays really well at a high player count, is manic, and also really suits itself well to still strategic play even though it's chaotic. Like, you were playing with us in the first time I played, and I was like, I'm running around, maybe one of these escape pods is for me, and I'm gonna get some stuff. And then, like, the game was at its end, and Alex was like, all right, well, I already deduced that this was the escape pod, I have all the correct stuff, and I'm out. And I survived and you guys all died. And I was like, how did you know what's happening? I'm almost certain it was you, because my core memory of that is the person who very calmly goes, oh, this. And it's almost always you.
I don't think in that game it was me.
Really?
I think it was someone from the Patreon community, from the Discord community, I think, if I recall correctly. I remember I had to do Stick Escape Pod, and I had a bunch of stuff, but somebody else beat me to it.
Maybe that's what it was, but it was like maybe it was that you had it plotted out that if they hadn't done that turn, you were about to win.
That's what it was.
And it was just, between the two of you, you guys like were so calculated in a game that I was like, this is chaotic. Devon's doing good, and then I was like, there are levels to this, and I am not at that level, and it was just so cool, and the idea that because it's a like square card layout that you can have a different board layout in different ways meant that I feel like the modularity and the replayability of the game is probably very, very high and could work well to introduce people to it and also to play with people who really know it and get two completely different play experiences. And also the production is just beautiful.
The production is insane.
Production is beautiful. But that is like standard for Cardboard Alchemy.
You have it, right? You have the game? Good.
I physically have it here. Yeah.
It's a very, very good game. I like it a lot.
Not here. I physically have it here in the state in which we are.
The planet of Earth.
In a state of happiness.
Yeah. So that was my 56. Have we all done 56?
What's your 55?
My 55 is, I'm going to argue for it, one of the absolute best Stonemaier Games titles.
No. Euphoria.
Yes. You know me. Euphoria, Build a Better Dystopia. This is a dice
We're
worker
in the state of happiness.
Placement game.
Aww.
And Euphoria is... That was good.
Agreed.
I gotta give you credit. It was good. So Euphoria, I think, is one of the best titles they've done.
Zendaya
and I know,
Zendaya is in it.
I don't think Zendaya. Oh, yes. This is the remake that Jamie put out just a year or two ago called Euphoria: Build a Better High School Dystopia. And it's such a good game. It is one of the few games where when I have been playing it that I have consciously thought the mechanics and the theme of this game are so well woven together that it is brilliant to me. Because in Euphoria, which, like, if you kind of think of, like, 1984, the board game, it is, the higher a dice is, the better result it gives you. But the higher it is, if it ever gets too high, like 5s and 6s, that is essentially representing the knowledge of the people in your dystopia. And so the higher they are, they're at risk of you losing that dice and have to recruit a new dice later because they are so knowledgeable that not only are they effective in terms of producing things for you and they do really well, they might become disillusioned with the world that they're in, and so they leave you. And so you want your people to remain ignorant to a point, but the more intelligent they are, they do better for you. So you have two things. You have happiness and you have knowledge. And you really want them to be happy and not as, and it's like, but that is reflected in the way that the dice work in the game, and it's so clever. And I was like, oh, it's such a good game, such a fun game, and I just don't think it gets hardly any recognition in the Stonemaier catalog. They have Scythe, they have Wingspan, they have so many other games that get a lot of light, and Euphoria just doesn't. And I think it's one of their best titles.
Can we play it after this?
You want to play a game that's about controlling the population?
There's a lot of dice.
I'm fine with that. Just like, it doesn't seem like
I do love like the way the thresholds that if you get over it, she's like, wow, that's really troublesome about the dystopian. There's dice. I'm in.
My number 55 is another oldie but a goodie. This is not from my first games ever, but it actually is. Well, it's really old. It's really, really old. And it's Dominion. Dominion for Rio Grande Games. Dominion is, to me, the grandfather. I know you're more of an Ascension person. I'm a Dominion person. But it's have you played either or both?
I have played not Ascension. I have played Dominion. But I think I have played it. This is one of the few times when I will actually agree with you. And I have played it frequently for free online. And I think that is actually hurting my opinion of that game. It makes it very, like, mathematical, and it takes, I think, a lot of, like, the interest and, like, spirit of the game that physically would be there.
I don't know about the online aspect. I think I have played it online, actually, but the game itself to me, it's the grandfather of deck builders. It's not the first deck builder, but it is one of the most, it's one of the ones that is known for popularizing.
Daddy.
one of the ones that popularized
GDDB.
deck building. And I love it. I think it's an incredible game with a ton of expansions. They've announced 7 times that they're going to stop printing more expansions. They keep printing more expansions. It's weird how if you could print money, you do print money. That's what he does. Remember this one last time?
What?
My foot hurts, my hand hurts. I don't know what to do.
What happened last
That's
time?
strong.
Once I can't remember when, but there was the time where you guys kept on doing. You kept on like smacking her so hard with like high fives.
It might have been the last time we were here.
Yeah,
Knocked
probably.
me
I think I was
over.
on that side and she was on this side. We did it.
Anyways, Dominion. I think it's an incredible deck build. I have all the expansions for it. I keep buying all the expansions they put out for it because I just love the variety of cards that you have, just the different little engines you can build. I always prioritize trying to play more cards, so I always have the best engines and the fewest points, but I have so many cards in my engine and it works really, really well. I just haven't won yet. There is that.
You never won?
No, I've won.
Okay.
But it's like Mosaic. You know, you talked about Mosaic
Yeah.
earlier, about that cash-in point.
Yeah.
I always am still focused on having fun building my engine, that I'm not focusing on actually trying to win.
It's like in Welcome to I only go for pools. I
That's a winning
can't not
strategy.
go for
It's
pools.
a winning strategy.
I would say for Dominion, I've only played it a few times because you showed it to me because I am a bigger Ascension fan. And for me, the biggest difference that I dislike is the static pool that you're buying cards from
static market,
versus
which is what
something
I
that's
love.
coming out. Yeah, and I think that's
That is
probably just where
interesting.
you
Like
started
Justin
with deck
Gary,
building.
who designed Ascension, was like, I don't like that this is static, and so his whole
Yeah.
his whole shtick of working on Ascension was changing that static market.
And my whole thing is I particularly, when it comes to deck builders, I almost always
I
prefer
think that's
them with
also
static markets.
why you loved Ignite so much, is you really loved
I
that
like
market.
I like the static market Ignite. I liked a lot of things about Ignite. Ignite had issues with some of the skirmish elements.
yeah.
Endless Winter kind of marries the two.
It does to a degree.
Yeah,
That's
but-
the point. Anyways, you're 55.
55?
Yep.
My number 55 is a game that I love the components. It's Azul. And this is another one where I'm doing the bucket. I have Azul Queen's Garden. I think that's my favorite version. But I really enjoy Azul. I think, again, it's one that I can introduce to people. It's one of the ones that, again, is very easy in concept. But if you are good at drafting, it's very easy to get ahead. That I do really love drafting, and I think it's an easy, simple, quick drafting game. It's also one that there are some games where I invest a lot of time where I really care about winning. But usually if it's a quicker game, like something like Azul, you can just keep playing again. It's something that I would play like 3 times in a night and not just once. So I like how snappy it can be and really fun with drafting. It's a good time.
This is primarily a 2-player for you, though.
For me, it's almost exclusively 2-player. In fact, I think I had this on my list already. I can't remember for sure.
I think I did.
One of us did for sure.
I had it on
Yeah.
86, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it recently, so I may not have. But yeah, Azul's fantastic. For me, it is primarily a 2-player experience. At 4, I have no interest in it, and at 2, I think it's cutthroat and mean and delightful.
I almost always play games with 2 players, so that's usually my experience. So.
Yeah. That's
Nice.
55.
What's your 54, sir?
54 for me is... Well, this is a crossover with Meg. I don't think we've heard it on your list yet, but if we don't, we're going to have wards.
It'll be a 3-way crossover.
Good follow.
Marvel United.
Whether it's Marvel United.
The hamster cult is here growing as a child or an immature adult. You know it's Devon. Devon Talks Tabletop.
It may make an appearance.
Marvel United is my number 54. I just think it's so good. It consistently delivers as far as just being a very
What's that
solid...
over there?
Lots of Marvel United. With a one Sharp Joe gigantic organizer for Marvel United.
For all you know, it's
Etsy.
not over there.
But it is.
That was.
I know,
I'm
it's a
doing
reference. It's a callback. It's a callback joke. But Marvel United is just...
I also belatedly got the callback.
It's
Devon
such
just uploaded.
a good game as far as just how simple, accessible it is, the amount of content there is, the variety of heroes. I do wish the heroes were more distinguished. Is my constant complaint. Honestly, if the heroes were more distinguished, if the heroes had more variety and really felt strongly different, I think this could be a 5 out of 5 for me. As it is, it's grown to a 4.5. I love it. I just think it's. I'll happily set that. Like, I would genuinely, if we said, hey, let's play Marvel United, I'd be down for that. It's a lighter game. I'd still have fun playing with both of you, and I'd still enjoy it. And I just pick up my little characters and just dancing around, trying to not get charged over by Rhino. Rhino is one of the most brutal characters, by the way.
Rhino's
first turn
rough.
kill can be a
Yeah.
huge problematic.
Yeah.
But, anyways, it is a lot of fun. I can play with my kids. I can play with gateway gamers. I can play it with adult gamers. I can play it with... I've done it with all, and it's just the amount of content, the amount of stuff. It's a great game. It's an absolutely great game. Solid stuff.
Agreed.
Nice.
And I think it's, again, like, for the theme, it delivers beautifully. That it really feels like how a Marvel game should play.
Yeah. Yeah. You're 54, Meg.
Number 54 for me is another Plaid Hat title, and it is Forgotten Waters. I greatly enjoy Forgotten Waters. It's very fun when you have a lot of people. It's one that's very thematic, where there is an app for it where it narrates different parts for you. And it's one that can be very chaotic, where there's a sheet with different roles that you're doing, and you take your character and you kind of just pick who's doing what, and only people can do certain things. That I think it's very fun and engaging, and it's one of those games where you're playing with a lot of people, it's co-op, and things can go wrong pretty quickly. So I enjoy that. It goes wrong in, like, enough of a way that you're trying to mitigate things and stop things where you're not sure if you're going to win, but it's not too much to, like, be a detriment to the game to make you not want to play. I think for the pirate theme, especially with the app and the sounds, it's really, really well done.
Nice. I know nothing about this game.
It's always been compelling to me, but I've always... And you said you played this at 2?
No, this one I played, I want to say either 4 or 5.
Because, the reason I asked, because you mentioned a minute ago, you primarily played at 2,
Yeah.
and this is one that the thing that's held me back on is the fact that I know it plays primarily better at higher player counts, and I just don't see that happening.
I think around 5 is, I mean, maybe more than 5, but I think at least 5 is where you want it.
It's campaign-based, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
it loosely, like, it's not like a hardcore campaign like what we play sometimes, but there's, like, a story arc.
That's the thing that's held me back on this one. Just the knowledge it's a high player count with a campaign. It looks cool. I want to play it. It's just not going to happen for me.
Nice.
Yeah. It is fun.
What's your 54?
I said it already. Your turn.
What's your 54?
What's my 54? That's what we're all asking now, isn't it? My 54 is... Didn't realize this until now. Raiders of the North Sea. So
nice.
Another Sim Phillips title. This is the North Sea title that I took from that trilogy, and I really like the Fields of Fame and Hall of Heroes expansions for this. I would say for most people, if you haven't played any of the games, I would actually say just get Raiders of Scythia. It has the elements of the Hall of Heroes and Fields of Fame expansions were like baked into the core part of the gameplay itself. I hate the art. I really don't like it. I really don't like it. I didn't mind it in Hadrian's Wall. And I think it's because I wasn't mentally comparing it to the Miko. Like, I love the Miko's art. I very much prefer the style for what he does. And also, like, maybe I just don't like the time period of, like, Scythian dress at the time, and that kind of, like, armor and stuff. But I did not find it visually engaging at all for me. And I just wanted to play Raiders of North Sea as well. And I also think I like that if I want to, I can just play Raiders of the North Sea base and teach it to people without all of those other elements in play. But I really like Raiders of the North Sea. I love worker placement games, and this is, I think, just like a classic Shim Phillips title, and I still enjoy it. And I played it just recently, and we had a good time. And I think probably one of the things that is markedly different from North Sea versus Paladins is that your turns in North Sea are so fast because you're just, boom, take the action, pick up, take an action. And it happens so quickly that even if the game takes longer, the game feels faster.
Yeah, I think this is his original claim to fame. This is not his original game. I think this is the one that made him famous.
Yeah, really, really good one.
Very cool.
53 for me. I'll just do a double. I'll do a snake draft here. Just going to go again. 53 for me is a relatively new title, Tidal Blades Banner Festival.
Really?
I love trick-taking games. I love them so much.
Whoa.
And I
Whoa.
love... Alex is like, respect lost. So I really like trick-taking games, and I think that this has done something... You know, I had a fabulous time doing Cat in the Box with you two, and I think Tidal Blades is super clever in the fact that it has managed to make a trick-taking game in which you have incentive to not... You can win the trick, you can lose the trick, you can be in the middle, and all three of them are viable strategies depending on the board state and what you want to do. So a lot of trick-taking games, depending on the cards that you're dealt, can really narrow like your options in terms of like what makes sense for you as a player, especially if you're playing, you know, stuff like spades and all of that. And the ability to not have that be punishing at all to the player is really inviting, and I think that I also like just how simple the game is. I like the Tidal Blades universe. The art is really fetching, and yeah, I love it. I'm really happy with it, and it plays well at different player counts. 2-player has a really cool like unknown quantity that you have to factor in as to whether you get beat by an unknown card. So it plays well at different player counts, and I just had a good time with it.
Yeah, for me, I've been liking a lot of miniature caking recently. For me, the thing that you like about it is what I didn't, which is you can get things at every level. Whether you win, lose, or middle, you got stuff. And it ended up feeling too ambient for me that I didn't really feel... Because you never get penalized for losing, I also never really felt rewarded for winning. I felt like, okay, I just play a card and I get stuff. Maybe I want this thing instead of that thing, but whatever, it's fine either way. It felt a little more ambient to me, which is why I enjoyed it. I love the world and art of Tidal Blades, but for me, that was one that I was fine passing on. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I want to play that one.
It's
You're
fun.
supposed to teach me that.
Yes,
I've got it.
At some point.
After
Do you
this.
want to
After
teach me?
After this. Yeah, I can teach
We're
you.
going to do another video that's all the games that Board Game Co. is supposed to teach Meg, but Devon did instead.
We're going to be here for a year. Okay. Anyways, 53 for me. 53 for me is actually, speaking of games I'm supposed to teach you, 53 for me is Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
You got it behind you? Oh, we got a game!
Devon can lift it with one hand.
It'd actually be impressive if he could.
He can. He did it in the other video.
Yeah, good job.
That's killing me.
53 is Assassin's
I'm
Creed.
just gonna hold it here the whole time you talk.
This giant box. Yeah, penalize me.
can't.
Penalize me for
I was
talking.
going to see if I could, but I can't.
53 is Assassin's Creed, which is no longer in camera. Hopefully not getting dropped.
I didn't even see all this. You keep talking.
Assassin's Creed from Triton Noir is a re-implementation of the V-Sabotage system that they had, re-themed to the Assassin's Creed universe, and that merging just works really well. The game turns it into a bit more of a campaign, so it's also got that element, and so it's just, you have this leveling up process, you're gathering equipment, you're going through a stealth-based missions as you try to move your assassins around the board, accomplishing different objectives. I really enjoy the systems I play. I find it tight, compelling. There's something quite enjoyable about like shivving somebody in the throat and then pulling them into the place you're hiding. It's a lot of fun, and it's just, I mean, I probably shouldn't say it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of fun. Really, really well done implementation. It's a game.
It's a game. You're allowed to.
Someone's gonna take that clip and just clip it and take it out of context. There's something really satisfying about just shivving someone and pulling them into where you're hiding.
It wouldn't be the worst.
I'm sure
thing
you've said
could
worse,
take.
yeah.
I was gonna say, between our Twitch community, the amount of things I say that are taken out of context, we got a lot of
It's
this.
gone after 2 weeks,
Yeah.
so.
What's your 53?
My number 53 is a game that I learned this year, Barenpark.
Oh,
Barenpark
game.
is so delightful. It's a polyomino game where you are building out your park of all your different bears in the zoo, and if you slap animals on a game, I'm gonna love it. And I love polyomino anyway. The bug crocodiles.
I had someone respond back to
bugs with
that
it.
on that video that just posted yesterday, and they were like, you know what? I do think that if Crocodile were insect themed, I would be more into it as well. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, somebody else has said they should paint the center of it for Meg. They should paint the center a Pokemon ball and have all the pieces be Pokemon, and you're catching Pokemon.
That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good.
Barenpark was on one of your lists.
It may have been in mine. I
think
do love it.
Came,
Wasn't
I
mine.
think we have talked about it. But yeah, it's a polyomino game where you are building out your park. You're trying to get points before anyone else. You get different tokens for being able to fill your tiles first. And then there are different objectives, which is one of my favorite things with games like that, where you have like 3 different goals that you're also working toward. It is an absolute delight.
I love Barenpark. Every single time I play a polyomino game that's like quick and accessible. Like I just played Copenhagen from Queen Games. Really solid game. Really enjoyed it. Great polyomino game. I recommend it. I don't feel the need to keep it because Barenpark is my go-to polyomino gateway game.
It's a fun puzzle.
Every other one that I have is escalating to some degree. Foundations of Rome, we Plan Unknown. There are polyomino games that escalated for me, but to me the ones that are the gateway polyomino games are Patchwork and Barenpark.
Do you still have Project L?
I do. That one's not a polyomino game. I mean, I know it has polyomino pieces.
You're right.
It's an engine building game. The whole genre is very different. It has polygon pieces, but it doesn't feel like a classic polygon.
What about Isle of Cats Explore and Draw?
That's a roll and write.
It's still polyomino.
It's a polyomino.
You gave me a weird smile. I wonder if that's on your
What do
list.
you roll in it?
Okay, do you think of Cartographer as a polyomino game?
No, you said it's a roll and right.
Oh,
Did
it's
I?
a flip and right.
Verb and verb.
Verb and verb.
I'm gonna now snake to my number 52 because I think it's thematic to do after Devon did it. My number 52 is a Tidal Blades title.
Tidal Blades.
It is the original OG Tidal Blades.
Which I have here and haven't played. Teach me.
I haven't played. Teach us.
Teach us.
Neither of you have played?
No.
Teach us.
Okay.
Teach us. Talk to us
Well,
about
this is how
Tidal
you
Blades.
play.
Okay, go ahead. This is definitely being the thumbnail.
In Tidal Blades, it's a lot of dice rolling, so I
Okay,
in Tidal Blades, you are playing as all these different Tidal Blades, and you are competing in a championship where you're trying to do like the best tricks and things like that. And yeah.
If you're not comfortable with this, you're never going to teach us the game.
I don't even know what to say. You're never going to say just the game. Your eye colors are almost the same.
Ours?
Yeah.
Do you have hazel?
I do.
What? Seriously, you have hazel eyes?
Yeah.
I don't want to kiss you right now.
It was too stunning. I couldn't even
Behind hazel eyes. It doesn't work.
My
yeah,
52.
Tidal Blades is it's just a bunch of dice chucking, and you get to roll them all into like this little arena. It's very fun. I think I do love it because I'm so good at dice rolling. I'm just saying, I'm pretty good at the game. It's a lot of fun.
Need to take her to Vegas.
Actually,
Lady Luck.
It's a fun... Why don't you go to Vegas?
I went once, and I love the Taco Bell Cantina. That's my number one location in all of Las Vegas, the Taco Bell Cantina.
That's where most people go. That's where most people
That's why
go.
you go to Vegas.
Find me there.
What's your 52?
My 52 is my second Chip Theory Games title on this list, and it is...
Ooh, Too Many Bones.
52.
Cloudspire. Burncycle.
Thank you, there we go.
Okay.
Burncycle is a
I was
52.
like,
Fairly
We're
close
both
to...
so concerned.
You should be concerned. Those are definitely higher, I hope. I'm going to check my list after. Anyways, 52 is Burncycle to me. I really enjoy Burncycle. And again, initially Hoplomachus...
Solo?
So, we'll get to that. Initially,
Definitely we'll get to
Hoplomachus was originally higher, but as I said, as I played it more, it's gone down a bit for me. It's still very high, but Burncycle to me is best solo. I like it best solo. I like it a lot at 2 players. And 3, I'm reluctantly willing to play, but it'd be much lower down this list. But what are you looking at me for?
Oh, just do the same
What
thing.
do you mean? It's so difficult.
Well, I wasn't sure if I missed anything. Once I know it's weird, I can go ahead. Just stare at me. Go ahead. I'll teach you how to play
It
a
hurts
game.
my cheeks.
There we go. Come at me, bro.
Burncycle is a stealth-based game, which you're basically taking the chips, the various little robot chips that all have the different abilities, and you're going to have this central module, command module you're running, which also has some abilities, which is one of the playable characters, but with flipped abilities for being a command module. And then you're trying to operate a stealth-based mission across different corporations and different floors, and also managing your little sideboard, which is my least favorite part of the game, but it's there, it's fine. The pings and all that, it's okay. But the core puzzle is trying to figure out how to utilize your characters, combine their abilities in different ways to accomplish the mission objectives, of which there are an absolute ton. It's another solid thinky and cooperative chip theory games that relies more on the stealth-based aspect with just a little bit of knocking robots on their heads. It's okay, they're robots, it's fine. And yeah, and that's basically it. I just like it a lot. 52.
Nice. It's the only chip theory game I haven't played.
It's right there on the floor. You can play it right now.
Right now.
After this.
Right after this.
After this, my 52 is a game that I got rid of, and I am upset about it. This is not that bad. I can do this. I think I can do this. I say that, and maybe now I'm going to buckle under the pressure. But my 52 is Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Okay.
I really, really like Star Wars Imperial Assault. My problem is that most people found it like too invasive, or not invasive, but involved of an experience. And so it was kind of like I constantly needed to be the like Empire player, which definitely, if you're the one who knows the game and you need to continue to what?
It's not throwing you off at all.
No,
I couldn't do it.
What if I could do it and then ventriloquize? It's just,
I was playing as a controlling Empire player, and I totally got it done. Every time the enemies are currently, I roll the dice, I take care of it all my rest, and all good. I'd like it. All right.
It was so disturbing.
Yeah.
Like that, if you had just done that, I would not have been able to focus. So Star Wars Imperial Assault is a Fantasy Flight title. I have a lot of Fantasy Flight titles from like kind of their golden age of like releases that they had back before, so like the industry has grown so much. Kind of back when they were like the flagship person, at least that I knew in terms of the games that I was playing. And
this is me just being stupid and nitpicking, but I like that they were the flagship person.
I like Star Wars. I wanted to play it. I
Mr.
didn't
Fantasy
get to.
Flight.
Please, Mr. Fantasy Flight, I'm missing a bit. I have my little certificate of ownership here.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So, I love that game. I got rid of it because no one wanted to play it with me. And I miss it.
Oh, I will play with you.
You would?
I would.
Nice.
I love Fantasy Flight.
It's so good. So good. So good.
My 51 is not as exciting because it's a dry, boring Euro.
Ooh.
It's excellent. It's
Dry Boring Euro. Have I played it?
I do not know. is Italian in themed.
Italian
in themed.
So not Troyes.
Not Troyes.
Lorenzo
il Magnifico.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's I don't imagine you.
Can you do that one more time?
Lorenzo il Magnifico. First of his name.
You know what's weird is when he's doing a stupid Italian accent, he pronounces stuff better.
Lorenzo il Magnifico.
He also stands up a little straighter.
We're going to go ahead.
My posture.
Lorenzo il Magnifico is a game of Italian.
Come on.
It's a game of it's a Euro game where you're basically trying to gather cards from different towers, and those cards are going to go into your engine, and you effectively have 4 different engines that you're building up and trying to work towards. All of those are rewarded in different ways, and all of them have different cash-in points and different ways that they all combine. You're not going to be able to be strong in all of them, but the ways you choose to be strong in this one, and then a little bit here and a little bit there, and the specific cards you manage to pull from each tower. For me, it's one that I really liked, got rid of, heard the expansion made it even better, and I got rid of it, to be clear, because there's only so many room for heavy, dry Euros I have in my collection. And it was really, really good, but it wasn't crossing that level of greatness.
How old is this one?
Maybe 2015. Maybe. I'm guessing somewhere there.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. And so
you sounded like an NPC from Assassin's Creed.
Probably.
Ezio de
Auditore. Ezio, come help. The guys are not... We're going to get cancelled, okay?
Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Matt,
I like
what's
a lot.
Your
The expansion though is the thing that pushed it over the edge for me. I love the expansion. I got that, and it really drove it to me to be just much, much better. It was already good, made it better, and that's my 51.
My number 51 is a game that made me like bag building. There was a bag building game that I heavily did not like, and then I experienced this, which is Wonderlands War.
I like that game.
Wonderlands War is a lot of fun. I really enjoy the bag building. I especially like when you get special items and you can put those chips into your bag.
I have the deluxe edition with the fancy chips.
Mm-hmm.
With
They're
the
very
fancy
nice.
chips.
And you're moving around for area control as well. My only complaint is I think that it can run slow. It can run pretty slow. People can take a bit longer making decisions and things like that. That I'm someone that I plan my turns multiple turns ahead. So by the time it gets to me, I'm doot, done. So it can run a bit slow, but the personal bag building and pulling the chips are so nice and so fun and satisfying. And I think it does it in such a good way.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it.
Nice. I really like it.
It's a good one.
And I agree with you completely. My only complaint is that it runs slow, and it's augmented. That's made worse when you are the person who's not slowing it down.
Yeah, I'm not used to being the person that's not slowing it down, so it's never really a problem for me.
Yeah, makes sense.
My 51, right? We're 51.
Last game.
It's the last game.
Nidavellir.
Nice.
I really like this. I actually taught it to our friends just this last week, and we had a good time with it. I'm excited to try Thingavellir, and then I'm interested after I try that.
I love that it's called Thingavellir.
Thingavellir and Idavel.
And Idavel, yeah. And so I'm excited to try that as well. But I really enjoy this. I've played it probably more on BGA because it plays so smoothly online. But I've enjoyed it just as much in person. We played it at PAX Unplugged, and then I played it recently, and then I played it another time in person. And just a very satisfying bidding game for me. The last game that we just played, it was 306 to 307 to 309.
That's a high score.
Yeah, it was a crazy round. It was crazy. It was really good.
That's intense.
Yep. But so we had a lot of fun with it.
And you ended up playing it, right?
I played it for the first time at PAX Unplugged, and it was okay for me. I didn't love it yet, but I don't want to say anything wrong about the people that taught it to me because they did a fantastic job, but I didn't understand everything that was happening, especially the coin exchange.
I taught it to you.
Did you? Or some of it?
I gave the game overview and then I left.
I may have had quite a few drinks by the time I was trying to learn this game.
Oh, she's like, I don't want to say anything bad, but the people who taught the game.
It might have been my
do you remember who
fault.
it was? No. Do you wonder if maybe the game teacher was the problem? I think it was the game teacher's problem, yes.
So that was I gave a very quick spiel, then I left to go play with Alex. So.
And I think that may have been part of the problem was that you taught me some of it, and then left, and then the players that I was playing with picked up where you left off, but I think that's a little bit got lost in translation, that I wasn't understanding with which coins I put where, how they upgrade, and when for them to be better coins.
Fair.
So that was the part I didn't get. So when I was bidding and doing stuff, I was like, I think I'm doing good. I think I'm just gonna go for like the things I want, but I didn't play that as well. So I had a fine enough time playing it, but I didn't love it yet.
Fair.
Yeah.
But enough to give it another shot.
It's a good one. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Game. Very good. And that's going to wrap us up. That's going to be our 6351. We'll be back at some point in the undefinable future in a state of happiness in this place, which is definitely the Board Game Co. studio.
Yeah.
Until
I
next
like
time.
Studio B. I like the idea of Studio B.
We should do that. Studio B for Board Game Co.
BGCB.
In any case, until next time. Oh, we can't have Studio C because that's there. And Studio G is the original. I don't know. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co.
It was really good before you started to explain it.
Exactly. And until next time, I hope you have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.